Yeah. Hey, happy Memorial Day. Eric Arnold here in the Sports Barn. Monday, I don't know, coming up around noon. Hey, well, what's going on? I guess this is our... Normally we have some kind of summary show here on a Monday, but I just didn't feel like adding up the numbers. So maybe we'll do that Tuesday. Maybe we'll skip a week. We're probably up around 5 units for the season. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice. We only have the one play for you today. I am just having all kind of trouble finding what I think is worthy of betting this year. Somehow my standards have gotten higher, if that's possible. Last year we played volume and we did okay doing that. And this year I just can't pull the trigger. I just can't seem to. Yesterday I probably should have won with 6 games. Well, probably should have been a good +2 or 3 yesterday. It was +1. I played one game and we won it. And then there were a whole bunch of others where it's kind of like, no, I just can't. Well, what about this? No, I just can't. And, we got to get more aggressive. And here I am standing out here, and I got one game for you. We got to somehow get more aggressive. I don't know. At some point, I think we will. But all we got's just the one game for you. Hey, thanks to everybody that watched the train video. I saw a video years ago when I was first researching how to start making YouTube videos, and it said one of the number one mistakes newbie YouTube video makers make is they try to be all things to all people. So I'm making that mistake all over the place. We handicap sports, we talk politics, and now we shoot train videos. Welcome, number one train fan. I think that was his name. I have a new subscriber, and almost all your names don't delineate what you like. In other words, Daryl Turner, other than the fact he tells me he likes sports handicapping in the comments, I wouldn't know what Daryl Turner's into. But this guy, I think his handle is number one train fan. I'm thinking, I hope number one train fan likes some baseball, because that could be the first and last train video we shoot. I don't intend or envision myself out chasing any trains here this week or next week or the week after that, or maybe not again. I don't know. I'll think about that. It is. There's a bar I go to that does sit next to the train tracks. So maybe I'll just sit there the next time a train comes by and just shoot a video of it, just for my one subscriber who likes trains. At any rate, thanks for subscribing. We appreciate that. Stick around. Maybe we'll give you some winning sports betting picks. I did a breakdown here as we're, at Memorial Day, which doesn't quite... It's not a quarter of the way through the season. It's more than that. It's less than a third of the way through the season. I think it'd generally be about a third of the way through the season, but we got a late start, so maybe that's why we're a little short here. But who has been a good bet so far this year and who hasn't been, which I think for the most part kind of breaks out how you think it does. The worst bets in baseball, the Reds. I'm doing this by memory. I didn't write. Anyway. Let's see. The Mets have been a real good bet. Some of the ridiculous favorites though, like the Dodgers, they've been a good bet, but not a great bet. In other words, 5% rate of return. That's good. I mean, that's nice, but it's not exciting. It's not paying your rent. What does that mean? Rate of ROI, return on investment. That means for every dollar you bet, you're making 5% on that dollar. So if I bet $1,000 on the Dodgers over the course of this season, I would have made $50, right? That's 5%. So I'm trying to think. So the Mets, they won the NL East, or winning the NL East in ROI. The Brewers have been a slightly better bet than the Cardinals, but both those teams are pretty good bets. And then the three direct teams, of course, have lost you money. Go figure. In the West, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks have been a surprisingly good bet so far this year. That's a little surprising to me. I'm surprised how poorly the Rockies have done. In that, that's a team hovering around 500, and they're losing you money. How's that possible? They must be just highly overrated as far as the betting markets go. That surprises me a little bit. The Giants, let's see, AL East, pretty much the entire AL East, with the exception of the Red Sox, is solid. They're all good bets. Even the Orioles are been a really pretty good bet so far this year. That they're exceeding expectations. That's surprising. AL Central, all those teams are bad teams except the Twins. They're the only team that's done anything this year. And then in the West, you've got the Astros. So this I think is ties into what I've said again and again and again. You try to play the premium teams where you can, where they're not super hateful expensive. For the most part, the premium teams are above 500 in ROI, and the obvious shitty teams are below 500. I think the worst team, the Phillies, are Phillies and Reds. I think they're down under 20% losers. I've got strikes me as those are probably two of the worst teams. There's probably another one I'm forgetting, but the Phillies and Reds are always at the top of my mind anyway, because I'm a Phillies fan. A lot of my good friends are Reds fans, and both teams are horrible. And if you're thinking, well, I'll play them to bounce, they can't be this bad all year long. Yes, they can. Beware doing that if that's what you're thinking. These are bad teams. These are bad teams. The only way I'd start thinking about playing those teams aggressively is if they're in a fantastic spot or they start doing things unlike themselves. In other words, if suddenly the Reds designate for assignment Joey Votto, then I would look at that team and go, oh, now they're serious. Now they're ready to win. Or if the Phillies would suddenly start benching Schwarber, I want to slam Castellanos, but he had a big home run last night after like an 0 for 30 stretch. So I'll bag Schwarber. He hasn't done much of anything. He's still in his 0 for 30 stretch. These guys are just dead weight. They're basically they're hurting the team almost. They're just worse than having no one at all. You could almost be better just putting 8 guys out there. So once some of those guys get put on the bench, despite their huge $20 million a year salary, then you say, okay, now this team's starting to get serious about winning. But, we all know neither of those things is going to happen. If the Phillies fire Joe Girardi, then I would look at that team and go, okay, now this team's getting serious. But we all know that's not going to happen. So you got to be real careful about playing these just terrible teams. Tonight I kind of wanted to play the Pirates, but the Pirates won a couple games against the Dodgers in Pittsburgh. So you're thinking, hey, I'm going to get that tasty, almost plus 300. That means I bet all I got to do is put $100 up. And when the Pirates surprise the Dodgers tonight and beat them, I'm going to get paid $300. plus the 100 I gave them. That's pretty tasty. It's a trick. It's not going to happen. They're just not going to pull it off. The Dodgers remember getting beaten Pittsburgh, and they're just not going to let it happen. They're just not. I had that game on my little notes, and that's what I concluded, that this is a trap. This is a trick. The Pirates are not going to get this game tonight. You're just giving the bookie that $100. That's all you're doing. Well, my only game I could come up with was the Nationals. I think this is a pretty solid play. I don't think I'm the only one that has this one tonight. A cursory look at the internet told me, the way I interpreted the data, that there was some other smart money. Let me rephrase that. There was some smart money, other smart money. That implies I'm smart. There was some smart money, I thought, on the Nationals. The Nationals are starting to play a little better. They, I believe, won the series this weekend against the Rockies. The Mets just had a nice, big, emotional, good series against the Phillies. Big comeback win last night on national television. Now the Mets they've got a big lead in the division, and this is a perfect spot for them to just start coasting, just start relaxing, cruising. One of their best players did not play last night, Brandon Nemo. He's one of those guys who go, who? He's not good. What? Who? He is one of their best players. He's a guy that plays great defense in the outfield, gets on base, hits for a high average at the top of the lineup. Believe me, that's those are the guys you look for, those hidden value guys. And when they're not in the lineup, you're catching value playing against the team. And Nemo ain't in there. Last night, his backup missed a fly ball, but then he hit a home run to tie the game late. So I guess that was kind of a wash. But yeah, I think the Nationals here, good play. And the Nationals play great in New York. As Casey Stengel says, you can look it up. The Nationals play great up there at New York. So we definitely like them at a pretty tasty price I keep using that word, tasty. I don't know. It's Memorial Day. I'm expecting maybe later some tasty hamburgers, which I'm going to have to make. My wife, her relationship with the grill is I do the grilling. But what was I going to say? 157 I don't know if that price is going to move, just because the way I interpreted the money coming in, that I don't think the bookies are going to move it much off of that 157. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to play it and see if it doesn't float upwards, hoping that a flood of subscriber F-type money on the Mets will come crashing in, and they'll be forced to move the number up to protect their backside if the Mets do win, which really they've been doing a lot of. So, but that's our play. That's what we got for you. That's all we got for you. We'll try to have generate some more volume here for you. There's not a hell of a lot of reason to stop by. It's like, you're going one game? I don't give a shit about the Nationals and the Mets, so why am I here? So we'll try to give you more as the days get deeper into the summer, and we'll see what we can do. Hey, thanks a lot. We appreciate you. Number one Train fan, salute to you for joining. I'm Eric Arnold. I believe in good handicapping, free speech, and some tasty hamburgers on Memorial Day.